So continuing down, I'm going to be honest, I haven't really practiced mindfulness in the terms that I'm speaking of it right now with scent. I've tried with taste. I can tell you the one time I sat down and had a good meal and decided I'm gonna eat this mindfully. It was a nice steak and veggies, and I really got the perception of how everything is a transfer of energy, because my meal was sitting there, right? And part of it was a conscious being at one point, but it didn't know that it was going to provide me with energy. But I realized that and became grateful for that fact that it lived its life and evolved and became nourishment for me and provided me with energy. And that gratitude in turn led me to want to provide output better energy for what I intended to do throughout the day and into the next day. The next one, and probably the biggest one for me, is the sensation of touch. When I really become mindful of what I'm touching and what's touching me, I really get the ability to just dissolve into my meditation and let go of everything and also allow everything in at the same time. When I become really mindful of that sensation, I start to feel the energy inside of my body, and it always starts with that warmth and that tingling and that buzzing feeling that I get in my hands, and I allow it to expand throughout. I notice the temperature on my skin and the air around and in between my clothing, the very subtle feeling of the air on my hair, brushing across the hair on my arms, the difference between warmth and the cold temperature that I feel, and how you can't have one without the other. I really get the sense of how everything inside my body is connected to everything outside of my body, and how those connections are an integral part of what it means to be mindful in everyday life. Because I start to realize that to be mindful to myself means that I should be mindful to everything else because of the connection that's there. And for me, there's a common theme that I'm starting to notice, becoming more mindful of all these sensations, and it's a funny one for me. It's the perception of distance. Like with the eyes, with my sight, seeing everything in its place, but also knowing that it's literally right there on the edge or the screen of my eyes. With sound, the perception of distance between what's making the sound and then me hearing it. The perception of me being inside my body, but how everything outside my body is also connected to it. There's a perception of letting go of distance between objects and noticing how that I'm a part of those objects just as much as they're a part of me. And this helps me to be more mindful of my interactions between not only people, but also the objects that I interact with. The feeling of reaching for something and grabbing it. You reach for a glass to take a drink of water, you grab it, and you successfully take a drink of water. But you also know the feeling of going to reach for an object, a glass of water, and you accidentally bump into it and spill the glass of water. Now, the difference is that instead of getting angry because it happened, I noticed the feeling of getting frustrated or angry and realized that I don't need to stay in that state for very long, if at all. And if I can be like that with objects, then I can be like that with people. I've realized that I've received a lot of great things in my life, and I really want to be able to show my gratitude. And one way to give back, I feel, is for me to just share my experiences and my thoughts with everybody, so that hopefully I can make a change in somebody else's life the way that so many people have made a change in my life. And if I could just reach only one person, even, I would feel accomplished. So I'm hoping I can reach many people, and those people can in turn also reach many people, and I find inspiration in that. I want to say, if you want to accomplish something today, something big, something important to you, don't be afraid. But if you are afraid, be aware that it's fear, and sit with it and watch how it evolves into courage. And if you enjoyed any of this or got anything from this, or you feel like this might be helpful to somebody else in your life, please take a moment to like and share. And if you'd like to stay in touch and be aware to all the content that I'm creating, please feel free to subscribe. See you. Feel free to subscribe as well.